Hi everyone, this is Michaela Ellis, and I chose the topic equal groups because I'm a third grade teacher and multiplication is a huge unit that we teach. So I wanted to learn more on how I could teach this better for my future students. I found an article called Cooking Up Arrays. The second grade class was doing a canned food drive and had a ton of cans in their room. So the teachers thought it would be a good idea to see what their students knew about multiplication. And they used the cans as manipulatives. There are so many things that stuck out to me and that I learned. It's so important to use open-ended questions when you are trying to figure out what your students know. The manipulatives are good for students to help them solve, but it's also good for teachers because you can see what students are thinking. It's also important to change the problem. If you aren't seeing what you want, or if you're unsure if the students are understanding something, change your problem so you can see what your students are understanding. I am planning on using math journals next year so it can help my students with discussions when we talk about how they solved the problem. In the article, teachers weren't sure if students were understanding multiplication fully because students were using repeated addition to add their equal groups, and some students were making drawings of rows of cans, but they weren't showing if they understood the rows as equal groups. However, the book states that this is a process students will go through, and they will start to make the connection that repeated addition will get the same answer as multiplication. This is important for me to know that this is a process that my students will go through, and it will be important for me to help my students meet that connection or make that connection. I thought the article could relate to a couple of the 5 dimensions, but the one that stuck out the most to me was cognitive demand, because the students were making math drawings to help them later explain to the class what they did to solve. This is important for me because I plan on doing more open-ended problems next year, but I also want to incorporate all 5 dimensions, so I need to do more than just open-ended questions. If you teach multiplication or if you teach second grade, third grade, fourth grade, I highly recommend reading this article. It's a fun activity, but it also gives us teachers so much insight on what students go through and the process of going from repeated addition to equal groups to creating arrays. The article states that research shows that already made arrays are hard to understand. That really stuck out to me because I never gave my students time to explore and possibly create their own arrays. So I look forward to going through this process with my students next year. I look forward to giving my students open-ended problem and then let them work together and come up with their own connections before I show them rules or the way to solve. The article Cooking Up Arrays really helped me see that this is what I need to do. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something too.